Everyone, I hope you are well. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, it's where I talk about twin flame process. So this video is on the 19th of July 2023, and it's just to look at the current energy, anything they want to tell us, and I really don't know how long this reading is supposed to be for, like the energy, if it's till the end of the week or not. I feel like it might be. Or is it just now? I'm not sure. So I'll just get the cards out, see what they've got to say. And also it's post-moon, so the new moon that's just passed. And what's happened with the passing of the moon feels like a complete ending and a complete detachment. So I'm not quite sure how that's applying to each individual, but it feels like just there's some kind of cut-off, they're saying. So you might feel like you're cut off from your process. You might feel you're cut off from kind of how your life has been, how you've been living your life. So it might feel like a finality about your life in some way. There isn't anything happening yet, they're saying. So this just jumped out. Let's look at that. Ace of Cups. So Ace of Cups is about love, it's about wholeness, it's about one love, it's expansive energy. So again, and it's also a brand new beginning. So it does feel like there is something kind of hanging in the balance. There doesn't feel like there's any resistance to the energy, so there's no friction. It feels very kind of just standalone, like a standalone kind of nothingness, which has got nothing to do with anything. If you can get what I mean. It's got nothing really to do with twin flame process. It feels like the cut-off is a complete expansion of nothingness. I don't know how else to say it, because it just feels like the energy is, they're saying outbound. So it's like everything has left. So there's nothing, but there's nothing incoming yet. So it feels like a huge space, basically. Like there's just a huge space of nothingness, and something is going to enter that space, but it doesn't feel like it's entered it yet. So they're talking about final details. So they're talking about how you might be feeling as though you need to finalize things. And that could be like things around the house. It could be bigger things than that. It could be projects and stuff that you put off maybe for a while, because it feels like where there's this ending occurring, and it's to do with the twin flame process, that you may be going to feel like you're disconnected from the twin flame project, from that energy. So you might feel like you've got to kind of come into an arrangement or an agreement around what it is you're going to do next. But actually you won't be doing any of those things. So it feels like what's coming up inside of you might be kind of plans and organisation around things that you've maybe had on the back burner, like in the back of your mind, kind of like, well, if this doesn't work out, then I'm going to bring in plan B. But how it feels around these plan Bs is that they're not going to go anywhere. Although you might kind of go towards them and look at them a little bit and kind of invest some energy and time into like research and, looking at things online, maybe locations, maybe jobs, maybe buying a car, something like that, something to like move you along, right? So the energy that's coming in to fill this space, the energy of moving along, is where you're going to be looking at things, plans, research. However, you're not going anywhere, they're saying. So it's merely the expansion of energy again. and it's also giving you something to do. So it's filling time and space, they're saying. It's filling a void. So maybe you've got a list of things that you're looking at that you feel like you're going to, like, I'm going to look for this thing, I'm going to look for that car, I'm going to look for this building, I'm going to look for this place to live, I'm going to look for this job, I'm going to look for this work, all this stuff. And it feels like new things, again, ideas. It's generating an energy. So everything that you go through in the process is about generating a different energy. And when you're in twin flame process, it's about generating an energy for your twin so that they can move into the space, is what they're saying. So the space that's created from the moon we've just been through, this void, is to be filled by the twin. And your activity of looking for new things to bring into the space is merely a projected energy to give your twin the relative energy to move forward into the space. So to fulfill the space that you've created, basically, or that's been created through the process and at the last moon. So that's really what that Ace of Cups is representing as well. It's like just expansion of oneness, location, and creating this different, it's like a different feeling inside of yourself. You may have cut off as well from things that you've been doing. With that moon, you might think that's the last time I'm ever going to do that, and know full well that's the last time you're ever going to do it, but again, not having anything to fill the gap. So it may be like, well, okay, so what's next? A feeling of like, what's next? The feeling of what's next, again, it's like a palpable feeling, it's an empty space, and that's going to be filled by something you can't see yet. So but that's going to be incoming. That's going to be incoming energy. So it's something coming towards you to fill the space. It's not something that you're going to fill the space with yourself. It's something that's outside of your knowing or your understanding that's going to fill the space, is what they're saying. Which is an incoming twin, which is twin flame reunion, basically. Let's just get the cards out. Manifestation, they're just saying. Manifestation of love. Again, Ace of Cups. And then we've got Seven of Cups. Lots of things, they're saying. Lots of ideas. Lots of like dabbling around in like, how would this feel? How would that feel? So maybe you're looking at things online and you're just going to look at a whole load of things and just get a really good feeling from looking at different things. They're saying a lot of things might suit you, or you might feel is suitable, because where your energy's at, where your vibration's at, what you're going to draw to you is everything that's suitable. So say you're looking for a house, you're going to be seeing loads of houses that would be suitable. That, you could be going like, oh yeah, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one. Because the energy is higher, they're saying. The space will be filled, and it's only going to be filled by what matches your energy. But it's all just ideas, they're saying. And it's just, again, feeding the feeling good of you. So whatever it is that you're looking at is going to match up to what you want. And it's just going to equate in that feeling of, it's going to match your feeling. So the feeling good is very good after this moon. Let's go here. The Lovers, divine love. So we've got this, what's created in the space energetically through your emotions. So the emotions are nothing to do with the twin. The emotions are everything but the twin, is what they're saying. So it's everything but the twin flame. So, like this journey, as you go through it, this process, like the early stages are thinking all about the twin, all about them, and everything is about that. And as you move through the process, you let go of them, until you're in a final space where everything is about everything but the twin. So what you're looking at has got nothing to do with the twin. It's going to be all about everything but the twin, right? But it's still about the twin in the Lovers. It's still part of the process. It almost feels like the process has ended, but of course it hasn't ended completely until you have your reunion. But it feels like it's ended, and it feels like that cutoff is kind of like, okay, so what's next? Because that's the end, and the twin's not here, right? So How do I fill the space? However, this fat lady hasn't sung yet, they're saying. So let's get another one out. King of Wands. So this is Leonine energy as well that we're in right now. It's a Leo moon. So it is a very kind of vociferous and active moon, they're saying. So the time right now is a very active time. So you might find you're doing a lot of stuff. Again, finalising. Even things like, I don't know, tidying up the shoes that you've got, you know, rearranging your shoes, things like that, they're saying. Tidying up loose ends, anything around the house, anything in the garden. Repetitive things, they're saying. So things that you've done a lot of. Might be chores that you're bored and sick and tired of doing because it's the same thing. Feels like the same thing every day, right? They're saying it's like doing those one last time. Maybe with a knowing in the back of your mind that it's the last time that you're going to do them, in the way that you're going to do it. It feels like what's coming in is something's being taken away from you in terms of how you feel about the things that you have to do. So it feels like you're going to exit a paradigm of where you feel like things are boring or dull or relentless because they're going to go on a back burner. Something else is coming in to your life that it will be fill that space. It's going to push everything out like that. It's going to push everything out to the side. So the things you do on a daily basis that you've been doing are going to get pushed to the side. So you'll still do them, but you won't. It's not going to be in the same way. It's not going to be where you're in your head about them and you're thinking about them. It's just going to be you won't be focused on those things at all. So they're going to kind of minimise daily chores. Anything that's boring and mundane, they're saying, is going to minimise because something big's coming in. And of course, King of Wands is also masculine energy. So just leave it with that at that, with the King of Wands. And then we've got Nine of Pentacles. So this is in your power, the feminine in her power. They're saying almost completely detached from the experience, the twin flame experience, almost completely detached from the process, apart from the fact that you are the process. So it feels like a really like extended, like a drawn away from, like kind of pulled away from the process. And what really feels quite strange about this energy is that it feels like you're pulled away from your higher self almost, but not. So how to explain that? So your higher self is like you're like overlooking, right? It always oversees everything that's going on in your life. So some people never know when they're connected to their higher self because they're getting on with the business of being alive and they're completely focused on being alive, and higher self is always watching them, but they're not aware of it. So there's that. People can be like that. Twin flame process brings you into awareness of your higher self, and that not just that you know it's there, but operating from your higher self, like going into your higher self and operating from that higher perspective. So that just means becoming like overlooking your physical journey and seeing it from a different perspective. So it kind of takes you away from your physical self in a lot of ways, so that you're not just getting on with your physical life, because you know it's your physical life is about your process. So you go right into your higher self. But this feels like, and they're kind of showing it like tumbling down, like you're back into your physical self. And your higher self's still there looking at you. You're looking at yourself as your physical self. But there's something here about not having the awareness of it in the same way. So almost as though you are really pulling at being physical only. It's or the way I can say it. Like really wanting to just be physical only and to like get on with life basically. And to like lead a fulfilling life. There's something like that going on right now. So that's her, right? Nine of Pentacles woman, because she has a really fulfilling life in the physical. It's like she has her fingers in lots of pies, they're saying. She gets on with lots of stuff. She might have several businesses, this feminine, male or female, this feminine. You know, she's got a lot going on. She's doing a lot. She's thriving. She's organising. She's buying. She's selling. She's working. She's streaming online. She's doing all this stuff. She's very hands-on and she's very individual and she's very not connected to other people in a way that she doesn't need other people. She just gets on with it. So again, it's like this kind of feeling inside of you, like you just want to get on with your life, right? And it's not about anybody else. It's not about what can they do for me, or even what can I do for them. It's just like what do I want from life? How can I have a better life? And it's going to be about filling that space again, right? And almost as though you are, I'd say, taking no notice of higher self, being the bigger part of you. Just feels like that a little bit just right now. Let's get another one out here. Movement in energy, Knight of Wands. So something coming along, they just said, energetically. So this is right at the middle. They just said again, the fat lady hasn't sung yet. This is all the hands off deck. Hands off, basically, because it's energy moving along. Something outstanding, they're saying, something coming along. So there's nothing arrived in this Knight of Wands, this movement of energy. Something is coming, but it's not arrived yet. Heart of the matter. I'm going to go here. Knight of Cups. So with love coming along as well. So again, and this is the position of, this is now, this is what's coming. Well, we won't go into what that is. It doesn't really matter. So just to say what those are, basically. Let's go here. Ten of Cups, completion around where you're at right now, basically. It's like home and family and just your situation, basically. It's everything ending in the way that in your location, they just said. So wherever you are, wherever you're living, whatever you've been doing, however what life has been for you, it's an ending around that. So nowhere else to go, basically. And I mean that in a kind of, not a literal sense, in a figurative sense. Nowhere else to go. Nothing else you can do. You know, it's like walking into a room and like every single piece of furniture is in exactly the right place, facing exactly the right way. And even though it's like, you know, what can I do? Well, I can't do anything. It's done. There's nothing to do. I can't move any of these pieces of furniture any more than you may have moved them in the past, because they're in exactly the right place. So there's nothing to do. So again, it's like that space. So it literally feels like walking into a room and everything's just how it should be and nothing can be changed, you know. So the furniture represents, like, you know, everything from the ego. It represents all your ups and downs of emotion, and it represents all your like thrashing around, letting go of whatever it is you've had to let go of. And all the turmoil and of the process and the in and out of the dark to the light, and, you know, the back and forth and the 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back all the time of this process, right? But suddenly everything is just arranged exactly as it should be. Ego cleared, heart open, nothing to do, space. Okay, and we've got that related to the incoming energy, Knight of Wands, and the energy of the masculine, King of Wands, and mastery as well in the King, which is a 4. So mastered, something coming in masculine. The twin, right? That's what that's got to be. Let's go here. 8 of Pentacles, which is connection in the physical. So something coming in physically, about to manifest. The Lovers, energy, on the way, they just said again. And here, arriving in the physical, they just said. So it's on its way. Well, it's always on its way, but this feels like it's finally on its way. For the last time, on its way. Let's go here. 9 of Wands, completion of the project, they just said. 9 of Wands is the end of the process of the masculine, wounded warrior. So we got that, and that's the final card in the reading. That's the exit card. And then we've got King of Wands related to Knight of Cups, which is incoming love, which is the 9 of Wands, which is the wounded warrior. So whoever it is that you're disconnected from in the physical, that is your twin, that has been your wounded warrior, this person's coming in. Divine love, Knight of Wands on his way, 8 of Pentacles, through the, they just said through the matrix. So arriving, popping into the physical, basically. And then we've got Seven of Cups, which is everything that's had to be done emotionally, and lessons around all the emotions, just everything that's had to be done emotionally, basically, for the two of you to be together. Nine of Pentacles, in your power, but everything done again, something about to begin again, because it's the end. 9, 10, complete ending, finalisation, and that's where it's got to start again. Ace of Cups got to start again. And underneath, Six of Swords, which is a let go. So final let go, downstream. They just said it's coming downstream. So it's about to ride into town then, basically, coming through. Let's go one more on all of these. So Knight of Wands, the Emperor. So the Emperor returns, basically, right at the heart of the reading. Underneath, Six of Swords. What's on Six of Swords? Go with the flow, Queen of Cups. So just let it be how it is, they're saying right now. Just go with the flow, whatever it is that you feel like you're cut off from. It really feels like cut off from the process itself. But you know, there's like these, you go through this journey and you go in and out of this paradigm, this twin flame paradigm, right? And this understanding. You go into your higher self and it feels like it's completely true. And then you go back, you come out of your higher self, you go down into ego and you feel like it's completely false. So it's this like, this paradigm of belief, the twin flame process, and you're in and out of the belief. And at certain times you're meant to be out of belief, and at certain times you're meant to be in belief. So not everything is always exactly as it's meant to be, so you've always got to go with the flow. Because when you're dissolving the ego, you'll be in ego. When you've dissolved it, you'll go back into higher self, and you're dissolving it for the masculine you're connected to. So everything is exactly as it's meant to be. So this cut-off that you're feeling, that it's all completely false, that it was never meant to be, that it's not real, is how you're meant to be feeling. So it feels like that, which is why that they've got this let go underneath, right? It's a let go of the process. Something like you're going to say to yourself, it wasn't meant to be. It was never meant to be. But it doesn't feel like when you go through the process and you have this kind of fighting against the what is, and when you go into the ego and you're telling yourself it wasn't meant to be, I was just imagining it and all that kind of stuff, you get really angry and upset, and you only feel better when you go back into higher self, when you come out the other side of it. So it's not like that with this, because the space that you're in is feeling fine, that it's not what you thought it was. So it's a complete let go of the process, basically, without any kind of like flailing around, anxiety, worry, stress, friction, without any resistance to what is. So just go with it, just open to it, be open to it, they're saying. Just allow everything to be how it is. Just do what you're guided to do, whatever that is. Seven of Cups, everything different. It's going to be different things for different people. Everybody wants something different, you know, apart from the person they wanted that they're not believing is coming back, because they're separated now from the process enough so it can come back. So what are the other things that you have always wanted, or what is close enough to make you feel good? It's going to be different for everyone, but those are the options that you're looking at right now. And that's exactly how it's meant to be. Let's go on Seven of Cups. Transformation, Death card, because it's transforming energetically what we're bringing towards you. So that's how it's meant to be. Nine of Wands and Dark to Light. So arrival into higher self, basically. The wounded warrior arriving finally in higher self, which means coming back as well, because that's when they get the light going on. Got to go back now. Time to go back. Get a voice inside their head. You've got to call so-and-so. They get a voice. It's time to email so-and-so. This process is for both people. How many times have you had a voice in your head telling you something, saying this person's the one, or something else about them, right? They get that too when it's time to come back. They are clearly told it's time for you to go back by their higher selves, and they hear it and they go back. Because nobody argues with higher self when they hear higher self. When it's clear, when it's clarity, Nobody argues with that. You jump to it when you hear that. You march in. You take your orders and you go with it, right? They're warriors. They do what they're told, right? Okay, so that's what we've got there. King of Wands, Eight of Swords, connection through the mind. So, like they're saying, you know, with what you're being guided to do right now, you just go ahead and do it. That's how you're meant to be using your mind, right? It's creating clarity. Every time you look at something that you want online, or something that's got an element of what you want, maybe it's not got everything, but it might have an element, you know, like you're looking at houses, you're like, oh, I like that garden, things like that. Every time you do that, you're creating impulses in your twin's brain, right, of moving towards things and of just feeling better and feeling good and getting ready, basically. Right, and the Ten of Cups and world completion. So I've got world completion coming out on the end game. They just said the end game of the everything being in the right place. Everything being in the right feeling good, they just said. Nothing left to do. And not everything is going to be exactly how you want it in your life. It's not going to look like exactly how you'd like your life, but how you feel in relation to how your life is at the moment. You're going to feel about as best as you can in relation to your life at the moment as you ever could, is what they're saying. It's just going to be a feeling good that is the right amount of feeling good in relation to everything that is. And kind of this, like, again, that hands-off feeling, that detached feeling from it. That is not worrying about it, not stressing about it, not really caring about anything that isn't right, and just feeling like good in a way that's detached from anything that could make you feel bad. It's like when they're saying, like, you know, you don't want to move the furniture around. I mean, you might walk into a room, the furniture might not be what you've got that you want. It might not be in a room that you want to be in, but it might still be the best it's going to be in where you've. So it's that kind of feeling, right? It's like, I can do no more here with what there is, but there's no anxiety or worry or stress, right? That. And then we go the Lovers, and we got Eight of Wands, so it's linked energetically, vibrationally, sharing the same vibration. The Lovers, so it's twin flame, and that's moving through the Knight of Wands, which is the energy moving, the Emperor, which is the masculine twin, and the Eight of Pentacles, which is arriving in the physical, so it's coming from the energy to the physical. Eight of Pentacles, and it's the Fool, and it's a brand new journey coming from 0 point, which is complete clearance, clarity, but no questions. So it's not finding an answer, it's just complete clearing of anything that could be a question, basically. Like you can't find a question to ask, something like that. There's no more questions because you've asked them all so many times, maybe, that you can't ask them again. So you're just not even asking them about this process. Right? So it's a detachment from the process because there's nothing else to ask about it. Because you've asked it as many times as you can. Just like a let go. It's a let go, like they said. Let go underneath everything. Nine of Pentacles, Two of Cups, twin flames. So everything that you've been through and everything that you are and everything that you've been guided to do, it's because of that. The Two of Cups, because of the twin flame process. Everything that looked like it wasn't about that, it's been about that. Absolutely everything. Your whole life. Even down to, you know, what kind of cutlery you've bought in your kitchen, or what kind of toaster you've got. You know, everything is about that process. And Knight of Cups, oh no, actually we've got that one over there, haven't we? But Knight of Cups, so this is where we're coming to now. Eight of Cups, love comes from love. Love can only come from love. It can't come from unlove. So it's the same with the feeling good and the feeling bad. You can only bring feeling good from feeling good. So you've got to feel good to bring feeling good, which means that you love because feeling good is loving. It means you love everything. And when you love everything, you can bring love. You will bring love. So it's basically just loving everything the way it is. And it doesn't feel, it's not an aggrandized love. You know, it's not like, oh, I love this sofa so much, right? It's just like, it'll do. Because the absence of feeling bad is feeling good. So it never has to be an aggrandized love that brings love. It just has to be an acceptance of what is that brings love, basically. So it's accepting what is. You're in a place where you're accepting what is, and that's going to bring the outcome of love. We've got that there. And that's all 4 8s out as well. That's all the infinity out. Ace of Cups. Last one. 6 of Pentacles. Someone reaching out and a physical contact being made. So again, there we go. So everything is about to begin again. It's about to start again. Incoming, filling the space that you've created through your acceptance of the what is. There you go. Through your clearance, basically. Through your 0 point. Through your that's why it's like the higher self is still in control, but you feel like you're detached from the higher self. Because you're so much the higher self that you cannot no longer distinguish between your higher self and your lower self. Because your higher self is all of it. So even when you're in ego, your higher self, that's how much it is cleared. So yeah, return to physical, basically, to do all this stuff that is like to do with a physical life. But it just feels like you don't even realise that actually it's your higher self guiding you to do that. That's it. That's for now, today. I'm just going to leave it as being for today. And then come back and do another one when it feels right. Okay. Lots of love. I'm going to just try and turn this off now. Take care, bye.